Tommy Carter was an ordinary 8-year-old boy living an unremarkable life in the small town of Emberville. His days were filled with school, chores, and playing in the backyard with his dog, Max. But Tommy harbored a fascination with fire. He loved the crackling warmth of the fireplace, the flicker of candles, and the mesmerizing dance of flames in the autumn bonfires. One chilly October evening, while wandering through the woods near his home, Tommy stumbled upon a clearing he had never seen before. At its center stood a large, ancient oak tree, its gnarled branches stretching out like skeletal fingers. Intrigued, Tommy approached and noticed a peculiar marking on the trunk, a pentagram etched deep into the bark. "Hello, young one," a voice whispered from the shadows. Tommy spun around, heart pounding, but saw no one. "Who's there?" he called out, his voice trembling. "Down here," the voice responded, and Tommy looked down to see a small, flame-red salamander with piercing eyes staring up at him. "I'm Lucifer," the salamander said, grinning. "But you can call me Lou. I understand you have a special fondness for fire." Tommy, though scared, was also curious. "How do you know that?" Lou's grin widened. "I know many things. And I can give you a gift, Tommy. The power to control fire in all its forms. Imagine it, the warmth, the light, the power, all at your fingertips." Tommy's eyes widened with wonder. "Really? You can do that?" "Of course," Lou replied. "But there's a price. Not your soul, mind you. I require secrecy. No one must know about your powers. And to hone your abilities, you must practice." Tommy's excitement dimmed slightly. "What do you mean by practice?" "You must burn a certain number of things." "Innocent things," Lou said cryptically. Tommy hesitated. "What kind of things?" "Innocent souls," Lou clarified, his tone casual. "Animals, for example. It will help you master control over fire. You understand, don't you?" Tommy was horrified, but the allure of controlling fire was too strong. After a moment's hesitation, he nodded. "I understand." Lou's eyes gleamed. "Excellent. The deal is struck." From that day on, Tommy could control fire with his thoughts. He could ignite a candle from across the room, shape flames into intricate patterns, and even withstand intense heat without harm. But the exhilaration of his newfound powers was overshadowed by the burden of Lou's condition. At first, Tommy tried to ignore the practice requirement, but Lou's visits became frequent and insistent. Reluctantly, Tommy began with small animals, like insects and rodents, each time feeling a pang of guilt and horror. He was careful to keep his powers hidden, knowing that discovery would mean losing them, and worse, facing Lou's wrath. Despite the dark deeds, Tommy became adept at controlling fire. He could summon flames at will, snuff them out, and even manipulate their intensity and color. But with each burned soul, the weight of his actions pressed heavier on his conscience. Years passed, and Tommy grew into a somber young boy. His once bright and innocent demeanor was replaced by a brooding and distant personality. His parents, unaware of the infernal pact, worried about their son's change, but could not fathom the darkness he carried. One day, while walking home from school, Tommy saw a group of bullies picking on a smaller boy, Timmy. The scene ignited a rage within him, and without thinking, he set the bullies' backpacks ablaze. The flames danced violently, consuming the bags and leaving the bullies in a state of panic and confusion. Tommy's anger ebbed as quickly as it had flared, replaced by fear. He realized the danger of losing control, the potential for exposure. He ran home, breathless and terrified. That night, Lou appeared, his form shifting from salamander to a more menacing shape, a small, horned demon. "You're growing stronger, Tommy. But you must be careful. Control is key." Tommy nodded, his heart heavy with dread. "I know, Lou. Sometimes I can't help it." Lou's grin was cold. "Then you must practice more. Burn more. Only through destruction can you perfect your gift." Tommy's eyes filled with tears. "But I don't want to hurt anyone." Lou's gaze hardened. You made a deal, Tommy. There is no turning back. Embrace your power, or it will consume you. As Tommy's control over fire grew, so did the intensity of Lou's demands. The burning of animals was no longer sufficient. Lou insisted on more significant sacrifices. Tommy resisted, but Lou's influence was overpowering. One fateful evening, Lou presented Tommy with a horrifying task. Tonight, you must burn a human soul. Only then will you reach the pinnacle of your power. Tommy recoiled in shock. No, I can't. I won't. Lou's eyes blazed with fury. You must, Tommy. The deal must be honored. Torn between fear and revulsion, Tommy reluctantly agreed. He chose a homeless man, an innocent soul who wouldn't be missed, or so he tried to convince himself. The act left Tommy shattered, his innocence consumed by the flames. With each burned soul, Tommy's control over fire grew stronger, but so did his torment. He became a master of flames, capable of feats that defied imagination. Yet, the weight of his actions bore down on him, eroding his humanity. By the time Tommy turned 18, he was a hollow shell of his former self. His powers were unmatched, but his soul was scarred. He had burned countless innocents, each act etching a mark on his conscience. One stormy night, Lou appeared with a final demand. Tommy, you have one last task. Burn the one you love most. Only then will you achieve true mastery. Tommy's heart sank. The only person he truly loved was his younger sister, Emily. The thought of harming her was unbearable. No, Lou. I can't. I won't. Tommy shouted, his voice cracking. Lou's grin was sinister. You must, Tommy. Or lose your powers forever. Tommy's mind raced, searching for a way out. He decided to confront Lou, to challenge the terms of their deal. Summoning all his courage, he confronted the demon. I won't do it, Lou. You can't make me, Tommy declared, his voice trembling but resolute. Lou's eyes blazed with fury. You made a pact, Tommy. There is no escape. Desperate, Tommy unleashed his full power, directing a torrent of flames at Lou. The fire roared, consuming everything in its path. But Lou merely laughed, the flames dancing around him harmlessly. You cannot defeat me, Tommy. I am fire's master, Lou taunted. In a final, desperate act, Tommy directed the flames inward, intending to end his own life and break the pact. The fire engulfed him, burning with a ferocity that mirrored his torment. But as the flames consumed him, Tommy felt a strange sense of liberation. Lou's laughter echoed in his ears as darkness closed in. Foolish boy. You cannot escape your fate. In the small town of Emberville, the tale of Tommy Carter became a whispered legend. The boy who could control fire, who made a pact with the devil, and paid the ultimate price. The charred remains of his home stood as a grim reminder of his tragic fate. Emily, now a young woman, often visited the ruins, haunted by memories of her brother. She could never understand the torment that consumed him, the darkness that claimed his soul. Lou, the demon who had orchestrated Tommy's downfall, continued to roam the world, seeking new souls to corrupt. The pact had been fulfilled, and Tommy's powers had been reclaimed. But the legacy of Tommy Carter endured, a cautionary tale of innocence lost and the terrible price of power. In the quiet town of Emberville, the flames of his story flickered, a reminder that some gifts come with a cost too great to bear.